Well, good afternoon, September 2nd, 2025. This is the weekly DVMUG Zoom meeting at which we'll follow the typical program of news, followed by videos, followed by miscellany, question and answers, and social hour. And we'll start with the news. News items for September 2nd, 2025, and that will be on the BBS with little summaries attached to it after the meeting. The following are synopses of the news items. First item, antitrust think tank slams App Store pricing changes as weak and inefficient. Remedies, Oliver Haslam, AppleInsider.com. The amicus brief relates to the ongoing legal spat between Apple and Epic relating to App Store payment policies, arguing that Apple tried to work around the court's decision while maintaining the status quo. The brief also addresses Apple's belief that it shouldn't be able to recoup its App Store development and maintenance expenses by way of a commission. In a court filing supporting Epic, the American Antitrust Institute says that Apple's anti-steering changes to the U.S. App Store payment policies fell far short of fixing the problem, and Apple's appeal arguments would tank almost every antitrust remedy and precedent. Ultimately, whether Apple will be successful in its appeal is down to the court. But given the fact that the judge was aided by a previous American Antitrust Institute amicus brief when the original decision was made, it doesn't look likely at this point. Any comments or questions? News item 2. United Kingdom iCloud data demand wanted far more than the world's messages. William Gallagher of Apple Insider. The United Kingdom seemed to give in over demanding Apple giving it backdoor access to iPhone users' encrypted data, but it may still be pressing for it, and it wanted much more than was previously believed. Apple turned off automatic data processing for UK users rather than comply, but now it seems that this was not sufficient to release the Apple from the technical capability notice demands. New court filings seen by the Financial Times show that Apple's appeal against the demand is continuing, revealing that the UK's secret demands were even more far-reaching than was believed. Rather than solely requiring Apple to allow it to access the currently encrypted data on iPhones, the UK government demands full access to all of iCloud. If Apple does not turn back on advanced data protection for UK users, and it so far has not, then the case is continuing, and so is the UK's attempt to gain backdoor access. So the message is they wanted full access to all of iCloud, and Apple's fighting it. Any comments or questions?
Yeah, I got
They,
one. Can someone put this in English for me? I mean, I'm sure Apple has a bank of attorneys that make more per hour than I made in a lifetime. But
well, I think Apple ought to go to the wall on this one. Nobody should have access to your iCloud account.
hey, I thought that was a big selling point for it.
That
Yeah,
it's
the
open to the
privacy.
public? No.
No, the privacy of it.
Yeah.
Hmm. I mean, I'm not as famous as Jennifer Lawrence. Nobody's going to take any pictures off my iCloud account. But yeah, I kind of curious where the UK, for instance, thinks they should have access to it. I mean, is it for terrorist issues or just the government's willingness to snoop?
I suspect it's for terrorism. They have had quite a bit of problems over there, but still.
But sometimes I think that terrorism just gets lumped into one big, that's the reason. But like I said, there are people smarter than I doing this, so maybe that's true.
I'm surprised our government, as it stands, hasn't done the same request.
But I'm surprised it hasn't too. It probably has, and we may not know it or whatever.
That's the likely case.
Pardon me?
That's the likely case, as you just
Yeah.
stated.
Or maybe they're waiting to see what happens here
Mhm.
and save their attorneys some billable hours.
Yeah. Yeah. Next news item. Oh, in response to
Good
this,
one.
by the way, I made a web inquiry. I asked the web, does latest macOS update protect against malware associated with Safari 14.1.2 Mojave Auto Package? Oh, I must have double clicked. There we go. Here's the item. New sophisticated malware threat may already be hiding on your Mac by Roman Loyola of macworld.com. Security company Moisel is warning Mac users about a new malware attack that may operate undetected. The malware, dubbed JS Core Runner, spreads through what appears to be a free PDF converter app distributed on a website with the domain fileripple.com that offers an app called Ripple Effect. The attack starts after a user downloads the file ripple.package file from the website. According to Meisel, by way of a report by 9 to 5 Mac, when the user unpacks a file, a fake web view displays a PDF tool that appears legitimate, but malicious activity runs silently in the background. The Mac's built-in security, however, has a record of the package's signature as a revoked one, so the package is blocked. But a second stage is involved, where an unsigned package named Safari 14.1.2 Mojave auto package runs and installs the malware. Once installed, the JS Core Runner malware targets Google Chrome profiles on Mac OS. It modifies the browser's search engine settings so that users are redirected to a fraudulent search engine to collect user information. Moisel reports that users might not even know they're infected due to the malware's sophisticated efforts to hide crash logs and pop-ups. And I made a web inquiry about this. I asked the web, does latest Mac OS update protect against malware associated with Safari 14.1.2 Mojave auto package? The response was yes. The latest Mac OS updates include security patches that help protect against vulnerabilities, including those related to Safari. If you are concerned that your Mac might already be infected prior to the update, then run Malwarebytes. Always install Mac OS updates when available. Set Mac for automatic OS update, lest you overlook a new update. And as Bruce regularly says, update, 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 update. Any thoughts?
Yes, you keep your stuff up to date, but you don't download stuff from websites that you
Right.
don't know. You don't download apps that you don't know are from a known good place. Get your stuff from the App Store.
Mm-hmm.
And leave your computer, go to sleep at night. Do not turn it off because Apple has protection for this kind of stuff called X Protect, and it runs in the nighttime and upgrades itself for this kind of stuff. And if you don't shut your computer off, it can't do that and it will fall behind.
Yeah, that's a point I should have included.
Especially in older computers that aren't older right now than Ventura. They don't have Apple security updates, but the X Protect goes way back to High Sierra. It still gets that kind of stuff in the background. So it's what you do when you launch a new program. It says you see verifying. That's what it's doing. It's X-Protect verifying the first time you download and launch a new program. And then it'll say, could say this program is downloaded from the internet. Do you want to launch it? You got to say okay, and then type your password to okay that. It also may say can't be verified. You should trash this. That means it didn't pass the X-Protect.
One other thing, a lot of people are confused about updates and upgrades. The upgrade is usually optional, but update usually, in fact, almost always includes security updates to protect you. And when you see that, don't be posting on the bulletin board, has anybody tried this and is it safe? It's something that you really need to do right now. Upgrades are different. Take your time. There's going to be an upgrade next week on your operating systems, and you can take your time on that for a week or so to see how other people do with it.
But usually it's listed in the software update real big at the top. Upgrade to a newer OS if it's available and will run on your computer. But then down in fine print, it says additional updates. Let's say upgrade at the top. Additional updates are available. More info. One little small line. You click that, and then you'll see usually your current operating system update, and a lot of times a Safari update for the last 2 versions that aren't current. So if you're still running those, you don't have to upgrade to, like, if your computer will run Sequoia and you're on Sonoma, you don't have to upgrade to Sequoia. You can stay on Sonoma and do the security updates and the Safari updates. Definitely do those.
All right, moving on to next item. Apple's Tim Cook era. 14 years of prolific products, profits, and politics. Tim Cook has now been CEO longer than Steve Jobs, as reported by Jason Snell of Macworld. 14 years ago this month, Steve Jobs resigned and Tim Cook became the CEO of Apple. It's been a ride, and while it's not over yet, now seems as good a time as any to look back at what Cook has done and consider where he and Apple may be going in the future. He has a few things to say about that, which I encourage you to go to the article and read. But his final thought is on Cook is that as he passes Jobs and continues as CEO for who knows how long, is this: on balance, if his primary job was to make Apple grow, and it was, he has succeeded. He didn't need to be Steve Jobs. He couldn't be Steve Jobs. And he managed his bosses all have his falterings, the butterfly keyboards, the governmental and factory politics, and money spent on self-driving cars are almost irrelevant. So I encourage you to read the article and get a lot more color than this summary here. Any comments or questions? We'll move on to the videos. And this slide is just to remind me to tell you that these will be on the BBS. They'll have a little bit of summary on each one, but they will also have clickable URLs because they'll be in PDF format. First video is by Gary Rosenzweig of MacMost, using ambient music on your phone. The new ambient music feature allows you to add buttons to control center, buttons to control center or your lock screen to quickly start playing music from specific playlists.
Hi, this is Gary with MacMost.com. Let's take a look at using ambient music on your iPhone. So ambient music is a new feature in iOS 18.4. So make sure you've updated to that version first before looking for it. It's basically a set of buttons that you could add in Control Center to easily access some music playlists. These playlists help you quickly play some music to help you sleep or work or even relax. So Control Center is, of course, what you get when you drag down from the top right corner like that. This is called Control Center. Ambient music is a set of buttons that you can add here. So let's tap and hold here in the blank space at the bottom, and we go into the editing mode. This is where you can remove and move these around. I can tap here to add a new control, and you get your basic controls here at the top, and you can scroll up to see others. Ambient music is near the top since it starts with the letter A, and you'll see these 4 buttons here. So let's start by adding the sleep one. If I just tap this, it adds a new button right here, and this just has a little symbol on it with some Z's and a musical note. If you expand it by dragging the bottom right corner, it adds the name right there so you can see ambient music sleep, and it will tell you whether or not it's playing. So you can decide whether you want it to be a large button or a small one. So once you have this added here to Control Center, you can easily access it by going into Control Center and then just tapping the button. So what happens when you do? Well, what happens is it instantly starts playing music. Now, it's actually activating the music app without launching the music app. So it's not going to take you to the music app. It's just going to start playing music. Notice here, I've got the Now Playing widget for Control Center, and it shows nothing is playing. But as soon as I tap this, it actually starts playing some music, and you could see the music that is playing right here. It's not playing some sort of background music like the background sounds feature. So it's not just some sort of loop that just plays some noise. It actually plays real songs. You can see the song name there, and you have controls and everything. You can stop it by tapping the pause button here, just like any other music. You can tap the next button here to skip the song and go to next. You can also tap the ambient music button here again, and it will act the same as if pausing it. So you can pause or play by tapping this button. By the way, if you find these videos valuable, consider joining the more than 2,000 others that support MacMost at Patreon. You get exclusive content, course discounts, and more. You can read about it at macmost.com/Patreon. Now, even though it's using the music app to play things, you'll notice that your music app is unaffected. If you're playing something else, then it continues to show that there. But under Now Playing, you'll see that it shows what it's actually playing, the ambient music track. So it's kind of acting like its own little background music app. Let's try adding another one. I'll tap and hold here, tap Add, and then go down to Ambient Music. And let's add the one here. And this will play, as you can see, Chill. So when I tap this one, it's going to play something different. It's going to play a song from a special chill music playlist. And I can tap on another one to have it switch to that. So it's just a quick way to play one of these playlists. But what are these playlists? Well, if we were to tap and go into edit mode here again, and then tap on one of these, you could see you get controls, just like with any of the other things in Control Center. In this case, you get to choose the playlist. I tap here, I could see it actually gives me a list of 4 different playlists. In this case, for the chill button, it's piano chill, ambient chill, lo-fi jazz, and pure chill. And I can also select from library. And if I do that, it allows me to choose any playlist from my library. So you can actually customize this. You can have it choose any other playlist you want. You can make up your own playlist and all of that. But here's the catch. That's if you have an Apple Music subscription. So it seems like ambient music really is a feature of Apple Music. And if you don't have a subscription, you won't be able to use it. But that's not exactly true. I'll show you what happens if you try to use it, and if you don't have an Apple Music subscription in a minute. But for now, assuming you do, you can choose any one you want from your library or go back to one of these. Now, these aren't special playlists just for the ambient music buttons. These are actually real playlists here. If I now go to, and you could see here, there is moods and activities, and there's chill. And if I look at the playlists here, under popular playlists, I'll actually find those playlists here. So these playlists aren't really anything new. You could have accessed them before. Matter of fact, some of the playlists listed I've actually been listening to for a long time. So really, the buttons are just a quick way to start one of these playlists. And you could set up these 4 buttons to actually access any playlists you want. So just a quick way to start music going. You could, of course, previously have it start a playlist using, say, a shortcut and put that in various places like on your home screen as well. You can also add access to the ambient music feature in 2 other places. One is if you go in Settings and then you go to Wallpaper, you can customize your lock screen and home screen. If you customize the lock screen, you get these buttons here at the bottom. So for instance, I've got flashlight and camera. I can take one of those away. Let's take away the flashlight one, and I'm going to tap on it to add. And here I see there's the ambient music buttons. I could add, say, quick access to sleep. And now when I'm on the lock screen, I can quickly have it start playing the sleep ambient music playlist. You could certainly see how that could be handy. If you have an iPhone that has an action button, you can also go in there, and then under the control section, you can choose a control, and there's ambient music there as well. So you can have your action button actually trigger one of these. So what if you don't have an Apple Music subscription? Do these work at all? And the answer is yes, they do. It's a little bit different though. So here's a different iPhone, and this one doesn't have an Apple Music subscription. So if I go to Control Center and I tap and hold, add control, and I go down to ambient music, you can see it's still there. Let's go and add sleep, and it adds it there just as before. It works the same way too. So now if I tap here, it will start playing, and it will still play some music, but I don't have an Apple Music subscription. If I go to the music app, you can see here, it's asking me to join and everything. So let's go back in here to editing, and let's tap here and take a look at the playlist setting here. If I look here, you can see each one of the 4 ambient music buttons has a different set of playlists if you don't have Apple Music. My thinking is that these are playlists of special music that Apple has licensed particularly for this feature. You only get to choose these 4. You don't get to choose your own, which is a shame. You should be able to choose your own playlist of your own music. But also remember, you could just go to Add a Control, go down to Shortcuts here, and add your own shortcut that just plays a playlist in the music app. So I guess it is just nice that at least Apple hasn't made this completely exclusive to Apple Music subscribers. You can use the functionality regardless. You just get a lot more variety in what you can select if you happen to have an Apple Music subscription. So give this a try on your iPhone. It's one of those features that's really not adding anything to your iPhone, as you could have done this before by setting it up yourself. But just having that little bit of convenience there is really useful, and a lot of people are liking this feature a lot. Hope you found this useful. Thanks for watching.
Thank you.
Comments or questions?
Yeah, they mentioned there's a sleep control. Does this shut off after half an hour or something? So you can turn it on while you're going to sleep and your phone's on a charger, and then after an hour it just shuts off?
I don't know the answer to that.
I didn't get that from there. And personally, I find it annoying. I can't play my own music because a lot of stuff that they pick out sometimes is, for me, worse than elevator music. Please, I'll fall asleep in an elevator a lot quicker than some of that stuff.
Oh,
You should be able to control it with Siri if you want to shut off time.
Yeah, you might.
Actually, you can set a timer, and then in setting a timer, if you go to the very bottom of all the sounds, there's one that says stop playing.
Yeah, Jerry,
So
you're right.
that's how you deal with sleep.
You're right. 2 weeks ago I mentioned that in my Lafayette class, and I've had so much I just forgot it. But yeah, Jerry, you're right. You're right. I bow to your quicker thinking.
All right. Second video is by Ellen Sweeney. Ellen's Tips for iOS. 12 iPhone settings seniors should change immediately. Just updated to iOS 18, here are 12 iPhone settings seniors should change immediately. Protect your privacy, saving battery, and making your iPhone easier to use with these simple tips.
Hi everyone, Ellen from Ellen's Tips for iOS. Today I'm showing you 12 iPhone settings you'll want to change if you've updated to iOS 18. These tips will help you save battery life, stay safer, protect your privacy, and make your phone easier to use. Let's walk through them together one step at a time. Let's get started. Tip number 1, turn off personalized ads. Why? This setting stops your iPhone from tracking your activity to customize ads. To do this, we're going to want to open up the Settings app, so let's locate that. Open your Settings app. Make sure that you're on the main settings page. Once you locate that, find Privacy and Security. Scroll down until you see Apple Advertising. Tap on that, and then make sure that you toggle off the switch that says Turn Off Personalized Ads. You'll still see ads, but they won't be based on your personal habits. Tip number 2, turn on Optimized Battery Charging. This feature slows down charging past 80% to preserve your battery health. So again, we're going to open up the Settings app. We're going to locate and tap on Battery. Now we're going to tap on Charging. And now we're going to toggle on the switch that says Turn on Optimized Battery Charging. This helps extend the lifespan of your iPhone's battery. It's especially helpful for older phones. You'll also see above that option is a charge limit, and my iPhone is telling me that I should toggle this switch down to 95%, which I will, and that should help me save battery life. Tip number 3, disable in-app ratings and reviews. Those pop-ups asking for app reviews, you can turn them off. To do this, I haven't left the Settings app because a lot of what we're doing today is inside the Settings app. I'm on the main settings screen. Scroll to the bottom, tap on Apps, and then locate App Store. Tap on the App Store, scroll down until you see in-app ratings and reviews, and fewer interruptions when using your favorite apps. Tip number 4, limit microphone and camera access. Some apps might access your mic or camera even when you're not using them. So again, we're inside the Settings app on the main settings screen. We're going to locate Privacy and Security. And now we're going to scroll down until we see Microphone. Tap on Microphone, and you can toggle off access for any of the apps you don't trust. Then tap on Back. Let's locate the camera and toggle off any of these apps that you don't want accessing your camera. This keeps your private moments more secure. Tip number 5, turn on Find My iPhone. If your iPhone gets lost or stolen, this setting helps you track it. So again, main settings screen, open the Settings app, tap on your name at the top, tap on Find Mine, and make sure this toggle switch is turned on. Also check to make sure Find My Network is turned on, and Send Last Location. You'll thank yourself if your iPhone ever goes missing. Tip number 6, optimize storage with high efficiency format. Photos and videos take up a lot of space. This setting saves room without sacrificing much quality. Again, We're inside of the Settings app. We're going to locate Camera, tap on Camera. Then we're going to locate Formats. And once we locate Formats, select High Efficiency. This is a great way to free up storage without deleting memories. Tip number 7, set up emergency SOS. In an emergency, this lets you contact help quickly even if your phone is locked. So again, inside the Settings app, locate emergency SOS, tap on it, make sure call, withhold, and release is turned on. You could also do it call with 5 button presses. You could toggle that switch on. It may also say call with 3 button presses. Once you have that set up, scroll down and you're going to see emergency contacts. You can add and edit your emergency contacts inside the Health app. All you have to do is tap on this. It will take you there and you can go ahead and set up an emergency contact. A quick and powerful safety tool everyone should have set up. Tip number 8, turn on stolen device protection. This adds extra security if your phone is stolen, even if someone knows your passcode. To do this, we're inside the Settings app. Go to Privacy and Security. Locate Stolen Device Protection. Tap on that and then make sure that that toggle switch is turned on. It prevents thieves from changing key settings or your Apple ID unless Face ID is used and only from trusted locations. Tip number 9, set up live voicemail. See what a caller is saying in real time before deciding to answer. We'll open the Settings app again. This time we're going to scroll to the bottom. We're going to tap on Apps. I'm going to tap on P on the right-hand side to get to the P apps quickly. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to tap on Phone. And then I'm going to locate Live Voicemail. And just make sure that that toggle is turned on. This is great for screening calls and avoiding spam. Some iPhones may not support this option, but at least run through the settings to see if yours does. Tip number 10, turn on vehicle motion cues. If you get car sick while using your phone, this new setting helps prevent this. So again, inside the Settings app, this time we're going to tap on Accessibility. We're going to locate and tap on Motion. And then we're going to tap on Show Vehicle Motion Cues. If I tap on, you'll see that it adds subtle dots around the screen that move with your car in sync. You could also tap on Automatic and it'll recognize when your car is moving and you'll begin to see those dots. Tip number 11, turn off app tracking. Some apps track your activity across other apps and websites. So to do this again, inside the Settings app main settings screen, locate Privacy and Security, tap on that, and then you're going to want to scroll until you see Tracking. Go ahead and tap on that. And then you can toggle this switch off and then no apps will be able to track you. You can also do it individually by app. So as you can see, that's what I've done. I've just gone through and when an app tells me it wants to track me, I automatically turn it off. So this helps protect your privacy and limit targeted ads. So the option is turn it off the whole way by just toggling off the switch at the top, or go through and toggle it off app by app. Here's the last tip, tip number 12. Turn off background app refresh. some apps keep updating themselves in the background, draining your battery. So again, inside the Settings app, all of these tips are inside the Settings app. We're going to go ahead and this time we're going to tap on General, and then we're going to locate Background App Refresh. Tap on that. You can choose to toggle off all of it, or a good option is do Wi-Fi only so that it's not refreshing while you're on cellular data, or you can turn it off all the way, or you can go through app by app and toggle off the apps that you don't believe need to be refreshing in the background. So I could toggle off maybe the App Store, Audible. There's a ton, and I just have to take my time, go through my apps, and this one change can make your battery last noticeably longer. That's it. 12 easy iPhone settings you can change today, all designed to make your phone safer, faster, and more enjoyable to use. If you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next time.
Oh, you were having trouble, girl.
Comments or questions?
Little hiccups in the video and the sound stopping.
Oh, there were?
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll be a good one to review later.
Third video is by Dan Wasink.
Yeah, I'm going to steal a couple of those things from my class.
Uh-huh.
How about you, Rick?
I used it before already.
Oh, okay. I always need something to kind of like jumpstart everything. It's like, oh, here, I got a list for you.
Uh-huh.
I did notice you had an Arby app and a Five Guys app.
Third video is by Dan Wasink. How can you improve iPad readability instantly? Customize your iPad's display to make it more comfortable, readable, and tailored to your needs. In this video, you'll learn how to adjust brightness, switch between light and dark mode, change the text size, enable bold text, use display zoom, and fine-tune accessibility options like button shapes, reduce transparency, and increase contrast. These simple settings can transform how your iPad looks and feels, helping you enjoy a clearer, easier viewing experience every day.
In this video, I'm going to show you a few tips on how you can make your iPad a little bit easier to read. We have a few different options. We can make the text larger, we can make the text bold, we can even change the resolution of the display. Now, if you find this video helpful, stick around to the end. I'll tell you a little bit more about myself and how you can help support my efforts in creating these videos. All right, let's take a look at how we can make our iPad just a little bit easier to read. Let's go over to my iPad. The first thing that we need to do is we need to go over to our Settings app. I tap on it. And then from here, when we swipe up on the left, you're going to see Display and Brightness. This is where we want to go. When I tap on this, you're going to see that we have a few different options. The first thing is we can set the appearance. Now, what the iPad does by default is it'll switch between these two modes automatically. During the day, it's going to be in the light mode, and during the night or in the evening, it's going to go into dark mode. Well, some people like to have it in dark mode all the time. It just makes it a little bit easier to read. If you want to do that, what you can do is you can just tap on dark here and make sure that automatic here is turned off. That switches over to the left. From that point on, your iPad will always be in dark mode, as you can see here. Now, another option that we have is we can change the text size. When I tap on this, what I'm able to do is take the slider and slide it over to the left or right, and we're going to be able to see what changes are being made just by looking at this text down here in the bottom. So let's go ahead and slide that to the left or right, and you're going to see that text is getting smaller. In addition to that, you're going to see that this text here is also getting smaller. drag it over to the right, and again, the text here is getting larger, as well as the text on the side here. So with this, what we're able to do is just change the text size. Now this will work for most apps. The apps have to support dynamic type, but not all apps support dynamic type, especially older ones. So in some cases, this may not work in a specific app. So that's how we can change the text size. I'm going to go back. I tap on the little caret there. The next thing we can do is we can make the text bold. And when I do this, what it does is it makes all of the text just a little bit more bold. Again, making it easier to read. I'm going to turn that off. And then the last option I want to talk about here is display zoom. This is where we can change the resolution of the iPad. So right now it is set to default. You're going to see it says default here. Well, when I tap on this, what I'm able to do is change the resolution. Now, your iPad might have more options here. This is a smaller iPad, so all I can do is just make it default or add more space, basically make everything a little smaller. But on my personal iPad, it's a larger iPad, I can actually make everything larger. So depending on your iPad, you might have different options here. So you want to check this out. And then if you have the option to make everything larger, go ahead and tap on that and then tap on done. Your iPad will do a soft reboot, and then everything will be a little bit larger, making it easier to read. Now, in addition to that, what we can also do is we can go to accessibility options. So what I'm going to do is go over to the left here, and what we need to do is we need to go over here to accessibility. When I tap on this, what we do is we go into our display and text size. We're going to have a lot of the same options here, but we're going to have a couple more that can make your iPad a little bit easier to read. First thing you're going to see is I can make the text bold, I can make it larger. In addition to that, I can also change the button shapes. When I turn this on, the buttons, which is what we see up here, are going to be more like shapes. Now with iOS 26, I've noticed that there really isn't that much of a change. But if you're using a previous version of iOS, it does make a little bit of a change to it. Seems like iOS 26, they added the button shapes by default, which is a good thing. Another thing we can do is we can reduce the transparency. So we have a lot of transparency, especially with iPadOS 26. Well, if you want to reduce that, thereby making things a little bit easier to read, you can tap on this slider here and it'll reduce that transparency. In addition to that, we can also increase the contrast. So when I tap on this slider here, it'll increase the contrast darker. So we can use all of these different options here in conjunction with each other. So what I would recommend doing if you're having a hard time reading your iPad is just kind of play around with some of these. See which ones work. Turn on increased contrast, reduce transparency. Maybe you like to have the transparency, but you need to increase the contrast, or vice versa. Or what you can do is you can make the text bold. You can also just increase the text size. So those are some different options that you have within the iPad to make it a little bit easier to read. Make the text bold, make the text larger, increase the contrast, reduce transparency, as well as even change the resolution. So those are some different options we have to help us make our iPad just a little bit easier to read. Now, if you found this video helpful, what you may want to do is like the video. You can subscribe to my channel. In addition to that, you may want to check out danstutorials.com. Not only do I have more videos there, but I also have an AI assistant modeled after an Apple Genius, and I host classes and webinars on a regular basis. It is a membership-based site.
Comments or questions?
Well, it would have been nice if when he had reduced transparency, he actually did that so we could see the difference. Some of those things, but yeah.
So I'm looking at my iPad, which is actually on iOS 26 now, beta 4, I think it is, or beta 5. And where was the resolution? Because I don't see a resolution setting.
Well, I don't have mine on right now.
It may be,
Accessibility, I think.
they may have changed it.
Okay.
I'm on 26 also on the iPad. I'm getting used to it.
So that was where he showed it. It was on the display page, right? Display and brightness.
It's at the very bottom of display and brightness.
Yeah, I don't see it here.
Yeah, I don't see it
With
either.
accessibility.
They could have moved it around.
Okay,
I don't see it in accessibility.
I don't either.
Oh, it says display and text size and accessibility. Yeah, he was showing that bold text, larger button shapes, reduced transparency. It's an accessibility, display and text size. I'll see what happens if I do that.
I found that some websites, like for instance, the San Francisco Chronicle website, a Chronicle app that is, that one article will be in large type and another one will be in teeny tiny type. So perhaps they're just not consistent about applying that adjustable type size across various articles. So I can figure.
I'll go to larger type. It's only set 1/3 over, not in the middle. I wonder what that's the default is.
He did say in the video something about a feature in the operating system called dynamic type, and many developers aren't bothering with it.
Right, older apps aren't being updated.
And some current developers might not bother adjusting that. They have to make the effort to enable dynamic type.
Oh, I kind of like bold text and bigger size.
Anyway, we don't have to stay stuck here.
All right, we'll move on. Fourth video is by Gary Rosenzweig of MacMost, how to set up your iPhone to automatically respond to text messages. You can use the Shortcuts app to have your iPhone respond automatically to messages. You can choose one or more recipients, and when they text you, they will get a response back even if your iPhone is locked. You can customize by specifying text to look for in the original message and adding things like your location in the response.
Hi, this is Gary with MacMost.com. Let me show you how you can set up your iPhone to automatically reply to messages. So an interesting and useful thing you could do with shortcuts on your iPhone is to have it recognize when a new message arrives and then take an action. And that action can be to respond to that person. So your iPhone can respond on your behalf when it gets a new message. You don't even need to have your iPhone unlocked for this to happen. I'm going to show you here in iOS 26, but it works the same in iOS 18 as well. If you go into the Shortcuts app, you look along the bottom and you'll see automation. Select that. That's what we want to create, an automation, something that works automatically without us having to prompt it to run. Now we're going to use new automation here, and then we're going to look for the personal automation that responds to a message. Now, we have several different parameters we need to fill in for this. One is the sender. We can have it run when anybody sends us anything, or we can tap here and then choose a specific sender or a list of senders. I'm going to add just one right now. So I've added just this one person. This is only going to run when this one person sends us a message. I can tap the check mark there, and I could also have it only run when the message contains something specific. So for instance, if this was your spouse, you can say, if the message contains the text, "Where are you?" then you can respond with a message that gives your location. So you can tell them, if you ever text me this, then you'll get an automatic response. But I'm just going to leave this blank so that any message sent by this person will invoke this specific shortcut. Now I'm going to have it run immediately, so it's not going to have me confirm that it should reply. Now I'm going to choose next. Now I can choose a shortcut that I've already created, or I can create a shortcut that's just a part of this automation. That's what I'm going to do here. Now in the actions here, I'm going to look for the action send message. If you don't see it here, just search for send message. Now let's use that, and I can put whatever message that I want right here. So for instance, something like this. Now for the recipient, I want to choose the same person that sent me the message. So that's easy enough to do. There I go, and I could just add that. And now I tap the check mark right there, and now it's ready to go. So now look what happens here. If I open up the Messages app and I go to the conversation with that person, if they were to text me, notice how it's going to respond automatically. They send the text, it appears, and you can see that it automatically responded. This will happen even if the iPhone is locked. If you find these videos valuable, consider joining the more than 2,000 others that support MacMost at Patreon. You get exclusive content, course discounts, and more. You can read about it at macmost.com/Patreon. Now let's say you don't want to use this all the time, only in special occasions. Well, if you return to the automations list here in Shortcuts, if you go into the automation here, you've got the Run Immediately option. You could also switch this to Don't Run. So now this is disabled, but you can always return to it later and say Run Immediately. So you could have a bunch of these for different purposes set up and enable and disable it as you like. Now, what if you want to have this same automation work for more than one person? Well, you can go to the When portion here, and under Sender, you can simply add more names. You can also just enter phone numbers here or email addresses for iMessage users. So I'll add another one here, and now there are 2 senders. The problem is the actual automation here responds to this person specifically. So how do you get it to respond to just the person that sent you the message? Well, I'm going to tap and hold right here and clear it. And then tap and hold again where it says recipients and add shortcut input here. This is going to take the sender from the shortcut input and actually just respond to that one person. So while this will listen for messages from 2 people, it'll only respond to the one that actually sent you a message. Now, let's say I want to do what I mentioned earlier and have it respond with a location. You can have it do all sorts of things like this. I'm going to add a new automation here that when a specific sender sends me a message, then if the message contains the text, "Where are you?" then it's going to run immediately, and I'm going to create a shortcut here where it's going to get the current location. So I'm going to search for location here, use that, and then tap here and select current location. So this gets the current location. Then I'm going to search for text. I'm going to create some text right here, and the text will have something I put in it like this. And then right here on this next line, I'm going to choose location like that. And then you can see it's going to prompt me here for what I want to include, like full street address, longitude, latitude, street, city, all of that. So you can select exactly what you want. Like I'll just say city, and then I'm going to have it send a message and then tap here. So it's going to respond to the shortcut input. So the person that sent me the message, and it's going to use the text. That's what it's going to send. So now when this person sends a regular text message, it doesn't do anything like that. But if they use the magic phrase here, you see it's going to respond with my message, and it's going to put the location in there. If you experiment more with shortcuts, you'll see that you can use all sorts of logic in it, like using an if statement to check the time of day and only sending a message if it's between certain hours, or maybe sending different messages if it is in the evening versus the morning, that kind of thing. Hope you found this useful. Thanks for watching.
Well, any comments or questions on that one?
Is anybody using it?
Well, maybe they didn't know about it.
Yeah.
Not
No,
here.
that's good. Yeah, for letting people know you're driving.
Yeah.
There's a built-in response that's part of the when you're driving focus.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks. I know. I think I used it on an Android once, but I didn't know about Apple or iPhone. Thank you.
My car, when I get a text message, has a group of pre-built-in responses. I just tap a button and choose the right one. I just say send number 3, send number 1.
What car was that?
Toyota.
Okay, thanks.
It'd be nice if I could set it to say, leave me a damn voicemail. I'm driving.
You can.
I think it'd be a great thing to have. I get real tired of people who don't leave a voicemail if I'm busy doing something else.
Doesn't bother me because it's probably not that important. If they don't think it's important, the
Yeah.
heck with them.
Me neither. Cuts down my Christmas card list every year.
So Rick, does your car have Apple CarPlay? Is that what's giving
No,
you
it doesn't. Unfortunately.
Mine does. It's, well, what year is your Toyota, Rick?
18.
Well,
You know,
that's-
my sister has a Toyota, and her son for her birthday gave her a replacement head unit that goes in the factory radio slot and looks factory and has CarPlay.
that's
Oh
what
yeah.
So you can
They make
upgrade it.
them. They're
Yeah.
about $550.
Yeah.
plus installation?
I think I got mine total $700 or something, but I also had the electric windows and everything. I could lock my car with a fob and the windows would go up. There's a place over on Contra Costa does that really nicely.
I think around 2020, Toyotas started having the ability to do that.
I think you're right.
Mike, where is the place on Contra Costa?
Um,
Or do you know the name?
It's very prominently marked. There's a drive-through in there, right, Mike?
Yeah,
it's over by Casper's, between Casper's and Safeway.
I've seen it.
On this on the side from
It's on the east,
Wait,
on the
wait,
west
okay, which
side.
town of Contra Costa?
I'll tell you what, Andrea, I'll send it to you in a bit, okay?
Okay, perfect.
It's in Pleasant Hill on the west side of Contra Costa.
Yeah, that's kind of hard to put into maps, but Andrea, I'll send it to you.
Okay, perfect. Thanks,
Send me
Mike.
radios too. Yeah.
All right, moving on to the next one. Fifth video is by Dan Wassink of Dan Tutorials. Save time with your emails. Set up an email template using shortcuts. Looking to save time writing the same email over and over? In this video, you'll learn how to create a reusable email template using the Shortcuts app on your Mac, iPhone, or iPad. I walk you through the settings, it up, customizing your messages, and even adding it to your Mac's menu bar for quick access. Whether it's a weekly update or a daily reminder, this trick will make your email routine much easier.
In this video, we're going to take a look at how we can create templates for mail. So what is a template? Well, basically a template is a pre-written message that you can reuse. So you don't have to type the same thing over and over again. So if you send out an email on a regular basis, the same email on a regular basis, maybe make a few little changes to it to the same people, what you'll want to do is you'll want to create a template for that. So then all you have to do is just make your changes. That's what we're going to look at. And the way that we're going to do this is through the Shortcuts app. This works across the Mac, iPad, and iPhone. I'm going to show you on the Mac, and then I'll also show you on the iPad because we have some special things we can do with the iPad and the iPhone. But let's first take a look at how we can do this on the Mac. Now, before we get started, if you like what you see here, stick around to the end. I'll tell you a little bit more about myself and how you can help support my efforts in creating this video. All right, let's take a look at how we can create mail templates on the Mac. Let's go over to my Mac. All right, so we're looking at my Mac here, and let's first open up my Mail app. I tap on it to open it up, and like I mentioned, with a template, what I'm able to do, let's go ahead and open up a new message. What I'm able to do is pre-address it to the people that I want to send it to. This can be more than one person. And then I'm also able to add a subject to it automatically, and then I can go and add the body to it. So that's what a template is. Basically, I'm going to pre-fill the to, who it's going to, what the subject is, and then also what the body is. And we do this with a simple shortcut. It's basically 2 different steps. So let's go into my Shortcuts app and see. And then we go over here to my Shortcuts app. First thing we need to do is we need to create a new shortcut. So I'm going to tap on the plus here, or click on the plus. And now what we need to do is we need to create our shortcut. And it's basically going to be 2 steps. The first step is text. What do we want to put in this email? What do we want to put in the body? So I type in this search here for text. So I go text, and you're going to see I have text here. I just drag this over. This is the first step. So this is what you're going to send to your people. This is going to be what is in the email itself. So now I just go in, type the body of the email. So this is where you would put what you want to send them. So that's the first step. Now we have to add our second and last step. The second and last step is send email. So I go over here to search, and I type in here send, and you're going to see send email. That's the second one that we want to add. So I just drag this over, and now you're going to see I have text. So what it's going to do is it's going to send the text, which I have right down here, to whoever I address it to. So who do I address it to? Well, our next option here is recipients. So I click on this, and they have to be in your contacts, and now all I do is just go and add people that I want to send this to. So I'm going to tap on the plus here. We're going to send it to a few different people. These are just random email addresses, or I should say they're not real email addresses. And we'll send it to one more here. And now, when I run this shortcut, it's going to send this text to these people. But we have one more thing we need to add. What is the subject? So this is where we would go and type in the subject of the email. So this is the subject. And that's basically it. Now when I run this shortcut, what it's going to do is it's going to create an email with this in the body, going to these people, and this as the subject. It looks like I got a little typo in there. There we go. And this as the subject. So let's go ahead and run this. Click on the play button here to run it. It's going to open up mail, and you're going to see I have my email addresses here. I have my subject, and then I also have my body. So now what I can do is I can go in here and add anything more that I want to add. So you could put in here, dear board members, or dear whoever you're sending it to, and it'll remember that. You just put that into the text of the body. All right, so we have this shortcut. Now what I need to do is I need to open up the shortcut app every time I want to run it. Well, that's not really that convenient. Well, what we're able to do on the Mac is we're able to add this to the menu bar. The way that we do that is we go over here to the I, and then what you're going to see is pin and menu bar. This is what you need to do. You need to check on that, and now what it does is it adds it over to this little icon here, and what you're going to see is my new shortcut. So I need to name it. So let's go ahead and name this. You're going to see it says send email here. That's the title. Actually, it's grayed out, so you really can't see it. So let's go ahead and say this is the send weekly email. Let's say I send this out once a week to these people. So now I have that as the title. I hit return. It saves it. And when we go up to this little icon here, look what we have. Send weekly email. So what I could do now is I could quit out of all of this. So I'm just going to quit out of shortcuts. I'm going to quit out of mail. I need to send that weekly email. What do? I just go up to the little icon here, send weekly email. And now what it's going to do is it's going to run that shortcut. And we have my email here. subject, and then I also have the body in here. So that's basically all we have to do. So that's how you can create a template on the Mac. Now, being that this is in shortcuts, this is also going to show up on the iPad and the iPhone. But with the iPad and the iPhone, we can't necessarily pin it to the menu bar. We don't have one on the iPhone, and with the iPad, we do have one if you use an iPad OS 26 or later, but it doesn't necessarily have these menu shortcuts here. So what can we do? Well, we can make an app out of it on the iPad and iPhone. So I'm going to show you how you do that on the iPad. So let's go over to my iPad. Now, I am using iPad OS 26 on here, but it doesn't really matter. If you're using iPad OS 18 or 17, you'll be able to do the same thing. So the first thing that we need to do is we need to open up the Shortcuts app. So I'm just going to swipe down and we're going to search for Shortcuts. And you're going to see that I found Shortcuts here. So I go ahead and tap on it to open it up. And what you're going to see here already is I have my Send Weekly email. So it already synced that. So what do you think is going to happen if I tap on this? Well, what it's going to do is it's going to open up my mail, and you're going to see I have my email addresses up here. I also have a subject in here, and I have the body of the email, all from that shortcut. So we know it already works on the iPad, and it'll do the same thing on the iPhone. But again, we have to go over to the Shortcuts app. Isn't there an easier way to do this? Well, with the iPad and the iPhone, what we're able to do is create an app icon out of a shortcut. So I'm in my Shortcuts app here. What I need to do is I need to tap on those three dots, the ellipsis. Let's go ahead and do that. What this is going to do is it's going to let me edit that. Now I'm on the iPad here, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to have an option when I go over to the eye here. I'm going to have an option to add it to my home screen. So let's go ahead and do that. I tap on it, and now all I need to do is just tap on Add here, and what it's going to do is it's going to add that shortcut to my home screen. So you're going to see it's right down here. And now all I need to do is just tap on that quote-unquote app, and then what it'll do is it'll run that shortcut. And you can do the exact same thing on the iPhone. So that's how we can create templates for our email on the Mac and the iPad as well as the iPhone. We do this through the Shortcuts app. What we're able to do is pre-address an email. We can also set what the subject is and even what the body is. Basically, all we have to do is just create a two-step shortcut. The first step is going to be text, what is going to be in the body of the email, so you don't have to rewrite that every time. The second step is going to be send email, and that's where you go and say who you're going to send this to on a regular basis, as well as the subject. And then from there, you're able to add it to your menu bar if you're on a Mac, and you can add it to your home screen if you're on the iPad and the iPhone. So that is how we can create email templates on the Mac, the iPad, and the iPhone using the Shortcuts app. Now, if you found this video helpful, what you may want to do is like the video, or you could even subscribe to the channel. You also may want to check out danstutorials.com. Not only do I have more videos there, but I also have an AI assistant modeled after an Apple Genius, and I also host classes and webinars.
Comments or questions?
I got an easy way to send an email repeatedly. I keep looking your sent mail, and under the message menu, it says send again. We'll just send out the exact same thing again, or you can change who it goes to, or modify the subject, or modify the body just a little bit, whatever you want, and it'll resend it.
Nice.
Kind of works as a template.
Mm-hmm.
That's been in the Apple Mail for a long time on the Mac. I don't know if it is on the iPhone and the iPad, because there's no menu bar.
I thought it was pretty clever making an app out of the thing so that it would be right accessible.
I set a app like that for restarting my phone because sometimes, I've always found it kind of difficult to grab those two buttons at the same time. And I don't use that as much as I use the assistive touch icon, but I did for a class, I showed them how to make a little icon app out there for restarting your phone.
I always ask Siri to restart my phone.
Yeah, I guess I'd show off.
Mhm. All right. Well, I've only one miscellany this week. And with the current uncertainty in the international financing in mind, it seems appropriate to review how simple it is to quickly check currency conversion using this capability built into the iPhone calculator app. On your phone, you simply have to open the calculator app by tapping on it, and it opens as it was last used. But there's a selector, a little calculator icon on the bottom, which if you tap, you can select the conversion mode. You slide the little button on the third picture here to the right, and it moves it into the conversion mode. Well, it opens displaying the last conversion you were using. But if you tap on either of the conversion symbols, you gain access to the categories row. And the categories row in the middle picture here gives you the various types of categories you can do conversions in. And you slide those left and right in order to get the conversion to the conversion you want. And in the last picture here, since we were talking about currency, we tap on currency and it has this drop down of all the currencies all over the world that you can convert to. And so if you tap on the currency of choice, in this case, euro, then you end up with conversions in the euro to US dollars. And there you are, and you can do the conversions. Now to exit, all you have to do is go back once again here to the calculator icon on the bottom to switch it off, and it'll open with a little slide button, which you slide to the away from convert, and you're back to your home screen. I just thought a quick review on that might be interesting.
That's really cool. Thanks, Lee.
Yeah, very good. Thank you.
Yeah, if you go to weight, you can convert from dram to slug.
Yeah. Right.
Just forget
on,
kilometers.
on to the questions and answers and social hour.
John, are you there?
I'm here. So any other business before we go to general Q&A? I want to mention next week at 10 a.m. in the morning is the Apple keynote, which will be about the new iPhones, probably watches. And so hopefully that's my day to do the keynote, Zoom keynote, and I have time hopefully to round up some information. Maybe Gary will do a video. And so that's what it will be about next week. We may or may not have any additional anything about except what was at the keynote, depending on how much stuff I find.
Is that on Monday or Tuesday?
Tuesday,
Tuesday's the keynote, okay.
10 a.m.
I'll mention that on the BBS at this time are the PDF summaries of news and video.
Yeah, I put I grabbed
John has an RTF version of the news.
I grabbed that and put it up in the chat. The video was up there earlier. I put up the news up after you did that, so it's in the chat right now.
And I'll send the keynote after we close out here.
Okay, so we're done with the business. Well, board members, remember we have a board meeting tomorrow night at 6 o'clock.
So one quick question about that keynote next week. Will they launch the new OSs that day?
They typically really don't release them for a week.
Okay.
They usually come out.
They just today released new
beta.
developer and public betas.
I just checked a minute ago, and the iPad and the Mac have new public betas.
Yeah,
Yeah,
beta
so the
6.
RC will be next week probably, and the following week will be the release.
What is RC?
Release candidate.
Release candidate.
Usually that means it's done,
Yeah.
but sometimes not.
They've been
So
known to pull it back.
typically the phones will be announced at the keynote, and then they'll be released a week later. Pre-order probably maybe immediately, or maybe a week later, and then in the stores very shortly, a week after, or something like that. And usually the OSs come out the same time the days the phones come out, or maybe the day before.
I just saw somebody's note that said that the iPhone may be the least interesting thing of that day announcement.
I read that too.
Yeah, a lot of articles are saying that.
I saw that too.
It could be, they said there wasn't much rumor about the watch, and the watch maybe have a lot of maybe new design. So
Yeah.
we'll see.
Maybe it's a good thing if there's lots of great information about other products.
Lots of rumors about AirPods. Maybe those won't come out at the same time. Maybe those be announced and shipping later. AirPod 3 Pro 3s. So we'll see.
And maybe
So
internal delay right now on the iPhone.
yeah, we'll
Having
see.
Internationally speaking.
having to do the tariffs from India.
What I read is, yeah, the tariffs are up in India, but the iPhones were exempt. I don't know if that's, you never know. You just changes every day.
That's today's news.
All right, let's move on to Q&A and rumors. This is the end of this. And so you can be DVMUG members, or if you're watching this on the YouTube, you can get the next session of the Q&A with the link on the BBS. Okay, see you next video.